What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and this one I want to talk about SPY and a couple of other tickers and break down something very important. Let me first say that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And don't forget about the Moomoo link. The offer ends very soon. Put in $100 and you're guaranteed up to 5 free stocks. Put in $1,000 and you're guaranteed up to 15 free stocks. Anyways, let's talk about the market. How are things looking? In the morning, SPY was basically trading sideways for the first 25 minutes. It was pretty much just stuck, not really doing a whole lot, very sideways price action, not looking that strong. And then all this data came out. We had the ISM numbers. The business activity was stronger than expected. Employment was below expectations. The new orders were a little bit low, but the ISM services prices were very close to expectations. So most of the data was quite decent. The services PMI was a little bit low, showing some contraction, but nothing too crazy. So overall, the data was very close to expectations, and as a result, we ended up seeing the market pump pretty hard as soon as it came out. So this data came out right here. You guys can see it. The market was sideways for a few minutes, and all of a sudden, SPY went from 468 and it shot up to 470.42, and now it's starting to uptrend. So it just shows how this data could affect the markets. This led to this nice little push. Now, data is oftentimes used as an excuse by the market makers and these big funds to just move money differently. They're finally starting to shift the trend. But the question now remains, this is what I want to warn you guys about. Um, Looking at the market yesterday, right? SPY pumped very nicely for 2 hours. Then this thing ended up dumping back down. Okay. Not saying it's going to happen again, not promising that. I'm simply saying that keep this in the back of your mind and just be a little bit careful. We broke above 468, which gives the bulls the edge. And now we're trying to hold above 470. We look like we could push higher if you look at the 4-hour time frame. We're stuck between the 20 and 50 EMAs right now. The 50 EMA is just at around 471. We are looking a little bullish, so there could be more pumping that's coming. But I just want to warn you all, wait a couple of hours. Be very careful, because I'm not giving financial advice when I say this, but what I did is I had long positions. I just secured most profits. Now I just have like one runner left, a very, very minor position, because I'm going to be very careful with this, right? Yesterday it pumped, came back down. There's no guarantee every single one of these pumps will last. That's why you have to watch your levels very carefully. We're shuffling in the 470s. We have resistance at 471. If we break above that, I'm going to be watching 472 flats basically, followed by 474 almost. So is it possible for us to push up to 474? Yes, but we first have to close above 471. We're going to be watching to see where we close, and let's see if this move lasts. If we lose 470, we have some support at 469, but it's not that strong. If that fails us, there's 468, just where we have some critical support. We'll be watching that very carefully. But we'll see how it goes for now. We're kind of like stuck, kind of shuffling in the 470 area, and we'll just see how it goes from here. All right. When it comes to Tesla got a very, very nice move. So Tesla actually did what I predicted. In my video from yesterday, I told you watch 234. I told you Tesla might touch 234, and we might see some buyers defend it, hopefully as we're returning on the 4-hour. The reason why that was so important is because when you look at the daily time frame on Tesla, you will notice that we basically came very close to touching the daily 200 EMA, and we saw some buyers defend Tesla. So that's pretty decent for Tesla. Seeing some buyers just defending it. Now Tesla's testing 240 as resistance. So this also pushed with the market. That's why I always go over this data. This data is very important. It still affects the markets. You could see today it caused the market to pump. So if you look at this, the data came out. Tesla was it came down to 234, was shuffling at 236. The data comes out, then about a little bit over an hour later, it comes all the way up to 240. So this helped Tesla pump a little bit, despite all the bad news that came out about the recall and this and that. It wasn't actually a recall, by the way. The media, just all these massive media outlets were saying it's a recall, it's a recall. It was just something that had to be fixed with the software update. There's a big difference. Anyways, we're going to be watching 240 as resistance on Tesla. If we break this, 242 is going to be our next critical level. For support, you're going to be watching 238. See if Tesla can hold above that. If it fails, 237 is going to be our next target down here. And if that fails us, then we have 235 coming. Right now, we're kind of shuffling the 239s. 240 is a tight resistance, but Tesla's looking kind of decent. Looks like it could try to push higher, but let's see if the move could last. Because remember yesterday, if you look at the chart yesterday right here, it pushed and then came back down. So let's see if it holds today. We want to see if this thing could hold up. Let's see if it could close close to 240, if not above it. Let's see if it holds and does not end up dumping. So be very careful. It is a Friday. Sometimes there's some sell-offs at the end of the day. But right now, I'm not going to count on that. Let's just see if we could hold these levels. One stock I called out yesterday was Nvda. I told you Nvda had some bullish potential with the inverse head and shoulders. I also told you that we had this channel, but if we broke 485, we would turn bullish. If we broke below 480, we would turn bearish. And what happened? We had the nice inverse head and shoulder structure that started to play out. And Nvidia is starting to blast off towards 495, even harder than expected. I was expecting at least like 490 if we got the breakout. We're actually above that, approaching 495. So we're going to be watching 495 as resistance. If that breaks, watch 498. For support, watch 490, followed by 488. But as of right now, there's a nice inverse head and shoulders looking quite good. We're favoring the bulls on Nvidia. Nice push-up, good volume. Not bad whatsoever. So it looks bullish overall. I'm going to go over Aapl and the QQQ just real quick. Apple's finally starting to show some life. I was telling you, I want to see if this thing can try to break above 182. Since we're doing so, we're going to be watching resistance very close to 183. I mean, there's some resistance here at 182.8, then we have 183. It's a very tight range, basically. I think it would be more efficient if I kind of highlight this. But one thing that kind of isn't that great about Aapl is that Aapl has really, really tight resistance levels. It's very tight. All these levels are super, super slim. So that's the reason why it's like not as volatile, not making big swings. The levels are very tight on it. So you're going to be watching resistance right here. 182.8 to 183. We have some resistance. If we break that, 183.5 is next. For support, watch 182.5 followed by 182. It's very tight right now, so we'll see how Aapl does. But as of right now, it's showing a little bit of life. It actually managed to bounce off 180. Let's see if we can try to hold this. Now, if we do get some kind of retracement on Aapl, I'm also eyeing a possibility. This is just like a hypothetical situation. Please don't take this way too seriously or simply trade based off of this. But this could be forming kind of like a left shoulder, possibly. Maybe a head is forming here. Do we form like a little drop? Does that end up happening next week for a right shoulder, then a bounce? Could that be what's about to happen to Aapl? We'll have to wait and see, guys. But this is just something I'm just eyeing just to be safe. Not saying it's going to play out. It's just something that's worth noting. And last but not least, we have the QQQ. The triple Q is looking pretty sweet right now. We got a very, very nice breakout. We saw this thing try to not just fill this gap, but I warned everyone, if we break 396.5, watch 398. If that broke, watch 399.6 to 400, and that's where we ended up going to. So if we come back down, you're going to be watching 398, 396.5, and 395 as support. For resistance, we have the green trend line. So if I kind of like do this, zoom out just a little bit, just like this, let me just show you. We have this green line. You guys see this green trend line right here, the one I'm touching? This is our resistance, and this is aligning with the confluence of resistance in the 399s. 399.6-ish, 399.6-ish, excuse me, that is going to be our resistance. Break this, 400, 402, those resistance levels are coming. I would love to see this thing try to get above 400. We'll just see if it holds. But for now, I'm not too worried about us breaking out. I'm more concerned about whether or not this move lasts. Because remember the last time it tried to break out yesterday, it actually touched this level. We got a big rejection. So watch this as time goes on. Do we get this big rejection as we approach market close? Or do we try to hold this level? If we hold this level, it's going to be very good for next week. If we get a big rejection, once again, guys, be very careful. Anyways, that's pretty much it for the video. Hopefully this video was insightful and helpful. I just wanted to warn everyone that yesterday when the market tried to bounce, we got this big rejection. So we're going to be watching today. Do we get this rejection? Do we keep going? If we keep breaking the resistance levels that I called out, watch the next level. There's always going to be a next level to watch for. So just be open-minded, try to be unbiased, and we're going to be very patient in a market like this. All right. Thank you for listening. Have a great day, and peace out.